Guys, we're back with Qinima. Prehistoric animals might not be something we can check out in person nowadays. Only their bone skeletons in museums or animated pictures. But you know what? There are still some prehistoric animals kicking it alive and well today. You know, these dudes have been around for hundreds of millions of years. So here are a few prehistoric animals that are still alive and hanging out with us. Alright guys, picture this. Around 5 to 15 million years ago, there was this unique animal from Australia called the platypus. These platypuses are part of the monotremata mammal gang, which means they lay eggs, but also do some breastfeeding action. They're super skilled swimmers, but walking on land can be a bit of a struggle due to their short legs. When it comes to swimming, these platypuses can hit speeds of 1 to 4 meters per second, pretty fast. Huh? Now, check this out. They look kinda like ducks with their wide beaks, webbed feet, and furry tails to keep their bodies cozy. But here's the deal. The government has their backs and protects them because their habitat is at risk. So, no capturing or killing these dudes, unless it's for some legit scientific research, you know. Around 48 million years ago, there was this cool echidna living it up in Indonesia. This echidna had a spiky body like a hedgehog and had a taste for ants. You know, feasting on those tiny critters. When it came to grub, it scratched and dug around trees in the ground, just on the hunt for a good meal. Here's the kicker, like the platypus, this echidna also pulls double duty breastfeeding and laying eggs. But even though they're kind of like the platypus's cousins, they're not as famous. Adult echidnas are about 30 to 55 centimeters long, with a tail stretching about 7 to 9 centimeters, weighing in at around 3 to 6 kilograms. You can spot these echidnas on Papua Island, including Papua New Guinea, and also down under in Australia. It's a bummer, though these little dudes are at risk, but they haven't scored the protected status in Indonesia yet. Let's hope they get some love and attention to keep them from going extinct, right? Guys, around 76 million years ago, there was this animal called Solenodon, which means groove teeth. Solenodon is a venomous mammal that's all about the nightlife and loves to dig around. Even though they were once thought to be extinct, turns out they were rediscovered, chillin' in a few spots. These dudes munch on insects and other creepy crawlies. Watch out, though, cause their spit is super toxic. It's like their way of taking down prey before they have a bite. You can find these critters crashing in tree burrows, measuring around 28 to 32 centimeters long and weighing in at about 0.7 to 1 kilogram. Here's the wild part, Solenodon has been kicking it for millions of years, almost like time travelers. Some folks think they hung out with dinosaurs back in the day. So there you have it, a groovy little animal with some seriously ancient vibes, rocking it since way back when. Do you ever heard of goblin sharks? These bad boys roamed around 120 million years ago, and they're no ordinary sharks, that's for sure. Their freaky mouth and head shape make them stand out from the shark crowd. Goblin sharks are like the rare gems of the ocean. Some even call them living fossils. They belong to the Mitsukurinidae family, and they've been strutting their stuff for a whopping 125 million years. Picture this, their skin is all pinkish red, and they got this flat and long snout. But here's the kicker, they got a secret weapon, some teeth that can pop out from their mouths. These goblin sharks can grow up to 3 to 4 meters or even more. They're usually hanging out on continental slopes, deep sea valleys, and underwater mountains all around the globe, but only at depths over 100 meters. So, adult goblin sharks like it deeper than the teenage goblin sharks. You know, keep your eyes peeled. You never know when you might spot these ancient ocean legends. Guys, ever heard of Martialis eureka? They used to kick it around 120 million years ago in the Amazon rainforest. These ants are a whole new breed, totally unique. They're like underground dwellers, spending their whole lives in the dark. And get this, they're blind as a bat. Scientists who stumbled upon them think these ants might just be the direct descendants of the very first ants on Earth. It's so wild that even the famous biologist Wilson called them ants from Mars, cause he'd never seen ants like these in any known ant families. These little fellas have adapted real well to the dark environment, so they don't need sight or any body pigments. It's like they're hiding a whole bunch of mysteries, guys. Guys, allow me to introduce you to the freshwater giant rays. They were rocking it around 150 million years ago, and you can still spot them in big rivers and estuaries in Southeast Asia and Kalimantan. Back in the day, they probably spread even wider across South and Southeast Asia. These dudes are some of the biggest freshwater fish out there, reaching up to a whopping 1.9 meters long and weighing as much as 600 kilograms. Talk about massive. They've got these oval and slim pectoral fins, with a cool brownish to grayish color on top and white on the bottom. You can find them chillin' at the sandy or muddy river bottoms, munching on small fish and invertebrates. But here's the bummer, they're facing some serious threats, cause people love to catch them for consumption and collect them for aquariums, not to mention the shrinking habitats due to human activities. As a result, their population is dwindling, and now they're on the protected species list. Let's give these awesome rays a shout out and hope they keep swimming strong in the wild. Guys. Hey guys, back in the day, around 170 million years ago, there were these massive salamanders in China, one of the biggest amphibians on the block. They had these big all heads, tiny eyes, and had this dark, wrinkly skin with cool dark brown stripes or spots. Their bodies could stretch up to 180 centimeters long, weighing around 50 kilograms. These dudes were all about chowing down on insects, millipedes, crabs, shrimps, and fish. Yum. Here's the kicker. These giant salamanders had lousy eyesight, but they could sense water vibrations to sneak up on their prey. How cool is that? Plus, they were aquatic pros, living underwater and breathing through their skin to soak up oxygen. The lady salamanders were the real bosses, laying up to 500 eggs, and the guys stepped up and looked after them until they hatched. Talk about family vibes. Man, it's super fascinating, right? Have you heard of sturgeon? These dudes were rocking it around 200 million years ago. Now, check this out, sturgeon eggs, aka caviar, are some of the fanciest and most expensive foods in the world. It can go for a whopping $25,000 per kilogram. Sturgeon belongs to the Accipinceridae fam, and they're famous for bringing us that luxurious caviar. Some sturgeons, like salmon, start their lives in rivers, then head to the big all-sea for a feast, and return to the rivers to lay their eggs when they grow up. But most sturgeons like to kick it in freshwater and spend their whole lives in lakes. You can find these cool cats all across Eurasia and North America, and Russia's making big bucks exporting these babies. Sturgeon meat and eggs are top dollar stuff. In their natural habitat, sturgeons are pretty easy to come across, and loads of folks have managed to breed them as a fancy commodity. Here's a fun fact: the biggest sturgeon ever caught, back in 1824, weighed a jaw-dropping 1.5 tons, and was a mind-blowing 7.2 meters long. Now, that's something to marvel at. These critters were doing their thing around 250 million years ago, and they're practically known by every human out there. We're talking about crocodiles, one of the 23 big amphibian species, and yep, they're carnivores, all about that meaty diet. Now, the size of these crocs can vary big time. The smallest ones come in at around 1.7 meters long, weighing 6 to 7 kilograms, while the biggest dudes can stretch up to a jaw-dropping 6.2 meters long and weigh a whopping 900 kilograms. When it comes to catching their prey, crocs go all out with their mighty jaw chomp. Then they twist and swallow the whole thing down. They sport these powerful jaws with cone-shaped teeth, and short legs with webbed toes, kinda-like claws. These cool crocs help their digestion by swallowing small stones to grind up their food in their tummies. And here's the kicker: due to their slow metabolism, crocs can go without grubbing for months. So, there you have it. Crocs are truly fascinating and awe-inspiring creatures, right? Jellyfish are some unique dudes, kicking it around 700 million years ago. They got this simple look and just floating around in the water. But get this, even though they're called jellyfish, they ain't fish or jelly at all. These jellyfish are invertebrates shaped like umbrellas and got them tentacles. Now, get this, there are around 2,000 known jellyfish species, and their bodies are mostly made of water, like 98%. It's crazy. They don't even have brains or separate digestive and waste systems. They eat and poop through the same hole. Can you imagine? But even with that simple setup, some jellyfish species got some complex vision skills. Check this out. The box jellyfish has 24 eyes around its body, giving it a 360-degree view. These jellyfish come in all sorts of sizes, from tiny ones to the largest one ever found, stretching up to a whopping 36.5 meters long. How cool is that? So, there you have it, guys. Those are the 10 ancient animals still rocking it today. Don't forget to drop a comment below and give that video a thumbs up if you liked it or a thumbs down if you didn't. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.